coming to Vegas is just as safe as going anywhere. I mean, this is a great, like I was saying before, the local police force here they're just a bunch of excellent guys. They're on their game. They did the right thing in that situation. I mean, what could you possibly do in that situation that they didn't do? I was listening to it on the scanner, and it was just, like I said, surreal, the way they reacted and how quickly everybody reacted, and the community came.
And again, we've been censored. The drop-offs are a little creepy. He should be right back. I really wonder if we're being monitored. You dropped off for a second. You there, Bobby?
Yeah, I'm back. Yep, sorry.
Okay. I really, I wouldn't be surprised if they were monitoring any transmission listening to the show, and I'm not saying that from a conspiratorial thing. I'm sure that everything that's flying about is going through filters right now.
Oh, for sure. And you know what? I hope it is. I hope that these guys, the NSA has everybody's information anyway for the last 8 years. Well, start using some of that metadata and using it for something besides harassing people. Why don't you use that data and find out the information about this guy? Let's find out what happened. Let's address the problem, and let's move forward as a nation. Enough with the BS.
And I'm going to take this opportunity to just say that Pat Robertson is a dick. If you're a fan of Pat Robertson, I don't know how you're listening to this show to begin with, because you're probably way too hip to be into Pat Robertson, but what a dick to take advantage of this opportunity. Disrespect for our national anthem is the reason this occurred. And biblical, fuck him, what a dick.
It never fails. You have these disgusting people who they thrive and they profit off of disaster and sadness, and they use it to their advantage to turn the narrative into whatever they want. It's pretty disgusting to see, and it's done by all sides of the spectrum, both sides of the political aisle. And to be honest with you, I've been guilty of it myself, and I'm starting to really have second thoughts on the whole entire outlook. We need to start figuring out what we agree on, because things are getting bad in this country, man, and it's up to each and every one of us to make sure that we aren't being a part of that nonsense, buying into it, and that includes buying into the whole. Everything Trump does is horrible. Look, you can criticize the guy, no doubt about it, man. He's not the greatest president in the world. He's not the brightest man in the world, and he's certainly not my favorite person. But at the end of the day, you gotta be the loyal opposition. You can't be the insurrection force that you think you are. This is America. In 4 years, you have your chance to get rid of this guy.
All right, just don't be sheeple, people. Just think outside the box a little bit. Don't be all the way to the left. Don't be all the way to the right. I'm just saying, why can't we all just meet in the middle and take a look over each other's fence?
Exactly right. Let's all figure out what we do agree on, and why don't we start there for once?
And in fact, that's where we are going to start, because you are in a good mood in the midst of tragedy. Bobby, why are you in such a good mood on this one day? What occurred on Tuesday that put you in a brighter spirit?
Well, let's see. There was first, I made a fantastic chicken parmesan.
I know about the chicken parmesan.
Oh, okay. Well,
it got posted on Facebook. Your love of chicken parm made it.
I know it's bad. I need to be on intervention with chicken parmesan. It's really sick. But the Yankees, wow. What are the Yankees? How good do they look? I mean, besides Severino, being shaky early and giving up those runs. Judge comes up, sets the tone, smacks that dinger, and we're off to the races. The young Bronx Bombers have arrived, This was the team that nobody said, they can't do it. They're too young. They're not ready. Well, here we are. We're ready to go with Cleveland.
A little bit of a dropout again for everybody listening. I'm just going to keep the recorder going until Bobby gets back. He'll probably be back in just a second.
Will our staff hold up? We have a lot of good pitchers on the staff this year. There's been some injuries, but we've seen this blueprint before from the Yankees. We've had the great shortstop. We got the great bullpen now. We can shorten the game up. We got power hitters. We got, look up and down the roster. Any one of those guys can be the hero. So I'm ready to go to war. I'm pretty confident with this team. I think that the Yankees have as good a shot as anybody to push it this year. And, we'll see you guys in Cleveland. I hope Kluber's ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So tonight, by the time you're listening to it, it's probably too late. But tonight we have Colorado and Arizona. What do you like in that matchup?
You know.
And by the way, it is 4:45. The game hasn't started. Just as a note, I don't want to hear any arm sharing. You knew what the outcome would be. What purpose would that serve us?
Yeah, I know. People are crazy, man. It's like the conspiracy theorists about sports, too. Yeah, we have Biff's Almanac, buddy. We're using it right now. We're not
if I did, trust me, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
That's
Fight
right.
Net Radio would not be a podcast.
Yeah, I'd be in Bali right now. Like Hugh Hefner in my house pants.
No doubt. So what do you like? What do you like coming out of Arizona and Colorado?
I think tonight, the way Arizona's playing, they're playing real strong baseball right now. They're very, familiar with each other. Both NL West teams, they play each other a lot. They know each other's strengths. They know each other's weaknesses. So this should be a game where every bounce matters. We're talking pass balls. We're talking foul tips that, get caught in the crowd. This is going to be a game, like Al Pacino's speech in Any Given Sunday. Inches are going to matter. This game's going to be fun to watch tonight. I hope people tune in.
What else do we have before we get to the big hitters? Is there anything to look for over the weekend that you're money playing, or are you just laying off and enjoying the games?
To be honest with you, with everything that's occurred in the last few days, I haven't really sat down and crunched everything yet on my plays. There's certain things that I've looked in on. A couple things with UFC coming up this weekend, but tonight, a game that starts at 7:30 tonight, the Edmonton Oilers game against Calgary. I like the Oilers in that game a lot tonight to start off the hockey season, to kick things off. Nice.
Who are you looking at in round one with New York and Cleveland on Thursday night?
Right now, it's looking like it's going to be Tanaka and Kluber. So, Tanaka we don't know what Tanaka is. One day he comes out, he has 15 Ks, and he looks like he's unhittable. And then the next day he's having a lot of trouble giving up the long ball, looking like me playing some wiffle ball with my family. So it really depends on what guy shows up. But like I said, the one great thing the Yankees have this year is we have a great bullpen. So we can shorten the game. If he can't go like we showed last night, Girardi yanked Severino right away, brought in Green. Green had a couple of great innings. Boom, we were off to the races. But Cleveland's a different animal, and we're talking a whole series here. So, it's going to be protracted. I think if Tanaka can come out and he can control his plate, he gets over the corners, he's getting the good calls. We'll have to see what kind of strike zone he's giving him. And if Tanaka could come in there and pitch the way that he's pitched in a few big games for the Yankees, hey, Yankees have as good a chance as anybody. But there's just as good a chance he comes in there and throws a dud tomorrow. So we'll see. I'm hoping for the best. But if not, he has to get out right away, and then the Yankees bullpen has to go to work.
Houston, Boston, it will be Chris Sale versus Justin Verlander. Good matchup right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate. Verlander and Sale, what is there to say about Sale? I mean, this guy is an incredible pitcher. What does he have, 7 losses this year, something like that?
Yep.
Something minute amount of losses, and 2 of them to the Yankees, by the way.
We had a drop off again. Hold on for a second. They'll be back with us in just a second, along with my conspiracy theory.
Not only does he command with the fastball, he has great breaking stuff. His junk is just fantastic. The way he comes in and dominates and pulls the string from going from high 90s down into the 80s, sometimes 70s even with some of these pitches.
Yep, I agree. Friday will be the biggest day for Major League Baseball. The Cubs take on Washington, Hendricks versus Strasburg. Yankees, Cleveland, Game 2. LA Dodgers, Game 1. And Boston, Houston, Game 2. Did I get that all right? Yes.
Yes, you did.
Boston, Houston will be Pomeranz and Kuchel.
Yeah. Keuchel, Dallas Keuchel.
Dallas Keuchel. It's pronounced Keuchel. Good
Keuchel,
Lord, what a name.
Yeah, guy's a monster. He's a great pitcher. He used to have a fantastic beard. I don't know if he has it anymore, but it was savage.
All right. So you're are we looking to future bet this at all? Are we looking for anybody to come out, or is it too tough in the first round? I've lost you again. The gremlins have attacked the conversation. People listening to this, I'm not making any of this stuff up. He is just dropping out. There you are.
It dropped out again.
Future betting, anything on this? Who do you like coming out of the East? Who do you like coming out of the West overall?
Well, I'm obviously not going to play a homer play and say I like the Yankees coming out. So I'm going to say that I think that the Astros have a great chance of coming out of the of the American League, and I think in the National League, I think that it's going to be the Dodgers. So Dodgers Astros.
It's not a bad series. That's not a horrible series for everybody.
Do you want my Homer series?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, my Homer series is this: Yankees Cubs. I think it would be an awesome.
Whoa! And you dropped out. We got to hear this logic. Got to love the internet tonight. He'll be back. Everybody.
After a while, I'd look back on it and say, well, that's history at least. But I think that would be a fun series.
How do you not think that it should be the Yankees-Dodgers? I mean, that's classic.
Oh, that would be great, too. All New York. I mean, a guy like my grandpa who's in his 80s would love that.
Goes back to when I actually watched baseball all the time. I mean...
I love it.
Wouldn't be bad. All right, let's talk about UFC on Saturday night. Demetrius Johnson making his, 450th title defense over the last 5 years.
Yeah, he's on a serious run.
Mighty Mouse is pretty tremendous. He's fought through adversity. I don't know if you can say that the people he beat were all that fantastic. I'm trying not to be a dick about that statement for anybody listening. I don't think he's been defined yet. I don't think he's had the fight that's defined him yet. Plus, I also know this, and we've talked about it on previous shows. His style is tremendous. It is built specifically for UFC rules and to be effective by UFC rules. It's hard to defend against. He has just enough of each of the skills to be great at it. His cardio and his stamina are through the roof. He is an absolute freak of nature. I'm not taking anything away from him. I just don't think that we're in a heyday period where he's getting defined by these fights.
No, yeah, it's the weight class. The weight class doesn't get any respect. I mean, look, he's going for his record, 12 fight, 5,000 fight, whatever it is, win, and he's the co-main event. He should be getting the headline material. And, at this point, if I'm Demetrius Johnson after this fight, I think about moving up to 135 and getting, bigger fights, man. Taking that Dillashaw fight, taking a fight against Garbrandt. What's Dominic Cruz up to? What's Rivera up to? What's Jimmy Rivera up to? Let's do it. Let's make some money. But you can't knock a guy for fighting at his weight class. So at the end of the day, he's the best at that weight class. He's cleaned it out. It's up to everybody else to catch up to him. And, watching him fight, like you said, it's a style that was built for mixed martial arts. It looks like a karate movie sometimes watching this guy. It's pretty fun to watch. I enjoy the weight class, but I've always been a fan of even women's MMA since the very beginning when it was not very well looked upon. So I just, I enjoy two warriors getting into the cage and leaving it all on the mat. And at the end of the day, I can totally understand why dudes don't want to watch, if two guys that are 125 pounds bang it out if they don't have an appreciation for martial arts overall. But if you look at people that have an appreciation for martial arts in general, any sort of striking or whatever, usually it doesn't matter the weight classes. I mean, we've seen great fights at, real low weight classes in boxing as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. This will be his 10th title.
Yes, and it's just insane. I mean, you think about that. And then you think about all the turnover in the other divisions and how quickly the other champions lose their belts. And you say to yourself, wow, what kind of fortitude and what kind of determination and, man, just confidence in yourself. And man, it must take a lot to really stay on track. I'm sure there's a lot of things that are out there for him, to draw him away from training and being focused on the fight. But he seems like a guy that he's, one mind to just continue on smashing people and building his legacy.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right, with all that said, is there any betting to be had on this fight?
Nah, I don't think there's a bet to be had on this fight. I mean, Demetrius Johnson says he wants to finish him by the 4th round. He's looking for a finish in this fight. So, the fighters always say that kind of stuff. I don't know how much weight you want to put behind that. Personally, I have zero desire to lay the wood that it's going to require on such a big weekend with other bets on the board. So, yeah, you could probably count me out on betting on that fight.
Well, we are moving into the weekend, so it will be interesting to see how Las Vegas recovers from this past weekend. We are going into a very interesting... It's the beginning of the NBA season. It's the beginning of the NHL season. Everything's happening all at once. And I'm wondering We've got the NFL in full